Well, hello and welcome to Knife Delights. Well, in today's video, I'm going to attempt to answer another open tag by That Pocket Knife Guy. And earlier, he'd put out an open tag on their top 5 favorite case knives. And then he did a follow-up video just on top 5 knives that aren't case. Well, I'm going to further narrow that down to my top 5 that are not case or buck. And I am basing, and I'm not sure if he just meant pocket knives or not, but I'm including in the category all knives because, well, when you have a lot of knives, it's awful hard to just narrow it down to 5. So I decided to go with the historical theme. So these are kind of my top 5 historical knives that are not case or buck. So let's get started here on the table. We'll start with this little guy right here. And look at this. This is a sleeve board Whittler. And mother of pearl covers. Just look at the color in those. This is just a gorgeous knife. Look at that. I just love looking at that. And this knife was made by W.H. Morley & Sons. It was probably made in Germany and imported to the U.S., and it's roughly from the 1920s time frame, somewhere in there. The knife's right at 100 years old, if not more than 100 years old. I think it's in terrific condition. And we'll just open it up here. And it's got a nail file there. And then got your main blade here, clip point. Look at that lovely swedge on there. Yeah, just lovely. And then you have a little pen blade there. There you can see on the tang stamp W.H. Morley & Sons, Germany. Yep. And they were only in business for, like I said, just a few years in the early 20s, I believe. You see the clover leaf on there. That was stamped on when they had their higher, what do I want to say, their higher quality line of knives. They put that shamrock stamp on there. And there you see W.H. Morley & Sons, New York. But that's where the company was based out of New York as an import company. But we can see right there the knife was probably actually made in Germany. Got the easy outs here. Just a wonderful, wonderful knife. So that's the first one that I could come up with. Oh, let's start right here. Here's another one here. This Camp King. And this is a hammer brand. You can see there, hammer brand USA. This knife has been used, I don't know if it's been used at all. There's no real scratches on it. Doesn't look like it's been used. But the reason I included it is because it's part of this set. So it came with this fixed blade also. And you can see the hammer brand right there. So you've got the combination hunting knife and a camp knife there. Now, let me see. I think now Imperial bought out the hammer brand name in early 30s, like 30, 31, somewhere in there, right during the Depression. And they continued to make knives under the hammer brand name until around the mid-50s. I want to say they stopped in 56, but somewhere in and around there. And then you probably can find this same set only done under the Imperial name. But just look at that. Isn't that a fantastic package? Okay, moving along here. This is, wow, this was an excellent find. I'm really proud of finding this knife here. This is a historical knife. This is a Marbles USA. Marbles, Gladstone, Michigan, USA. What's important about this knife is See down there, it says patent pending. Now on articles I have read, this is the Woodcraft model. The Woodcraft model was basically designed by an outdoorsman in 1914, and it's unsure if they actually went into production in 14 or if it came out in 15 when the first model came out. But the patent for this knife was issued in 1916. So you can see, since we have patent pending on here, this knife is either from 1914 or 15. It is one of the original models of this knife. And another thing that's unique on it is the man that designed this knife didn't believe in having a long handle. He wanted a short handle because he says you're supposed to always choke up on your knife blade anyway, and you don't need to have a long handle. Hence, another indication that this is one of the original ones is we have this really short handle. Now, after a few years, due to customer feedback, I guess a lot of hunters did not go with the knife designer's philosophy. They wanted a longer handle, so they did expand the handle out, I think another ½ inch or something like that. So, and of course this one has the stack leather and the stag pommel. And this is just a wonderful knife. Now, you can see it's kind of chewed up there a little bit and a broken tip. But I've left it in this condition. That's just a historical piece. I don't have the sheath for it. I got this thing, a sheath I made out of a kit. I just keep it stored in there, just to have something to store it in. It'd be wonderful to have the sheath. But this is just a fantastic piece of cutlery history right here. And if you didn't know, Marbles is the first one that came out with the stack leather handle. So that came out on their Ideal model hunting knife. So all your K-bars and all your modern hunting knives, or all of that come out with the stack leather, hey, they are all based on Marbles design. Okay, let's move along. And this is a Western Boulder, Colorado, USA. Look at this knife here. Yeah, this is out of the Black Beauty series. And you know it's a Western because Western was famous for their bifurcated tang. So what that means is the tang comes back here and it splits. Think of a tuning fork, I guess you would say. So you've got two pins in it that way. So you got a pin that goes through here and comes out here. So that's like the top fork of the tuning fork. And then you've got the pin that goes here and down through there, like through the bottom part of the tuning fork. And that was a patent that they came up with. They thought that was the strongest, best way to pin these handles. And one of the reasons I decided to include this knife in for the historical value is because it also is a combination set, because it comes with the hatchet. And let me see if I can get the hatchet out here. You can see the dual sheath here. So I found this in an antique store, and they had a different hatchet in here. They didn't have this one in there. They had one made by Estwing. Estwing is a company out of Illinois, and they're still in business today. But I saw the combination leathers here and this knife in there. And again, you can tell it's a Western based on that oak leaf pattern, the acorns on their sheaths. And God bless him, good old Big J, you bet, Jerry. He was so kind, and he went out and he located this hatchet, bought it, and presented it to me so that I would have the complete set. So there it is, the Black Beauty combination knife and hatchet. Okay, and for my last, fifth and last knife here, I'm going to throw a little bit of a curveball at you. because it is a modern knife. But this is the Speedster, and this was designed by Blackie Collins. And when I bought this knife, and I've told this story before, this is the first tactical knife I ever bought, I guess. Right after I became a peace officer, I bought this because I thought I had to have a tactical knife with me. So this was probably the first modern knife I ever bought. It was made by Meyer Co. And you can see you got alternate serrations. You can see I've used this knife some. I thought this was a good, well, I wore, you know, tactical pants which had the cargo pockets in it, so I could put this down inside, and then I put this on here so as you're reaching down in, it was easy to get a hold of. Put a little tape there just to give it a little bit of grip, because sometimes you're wearing gloves and it was just easier to get a hold of that. But I remember when I bought this, it was just at a local sporting goods store, and the salesman's like, well, here's one by Blackie Collins. And of course I had no idea who Blackie Collins was. Going back and doing some research, Blackie sure did a whole lot for the knife community. Of course, he's no longer with us, but he was very instrumental in a lot of things, in knife designs and such. And yeah, OS8 Seki Japan is where it was made. So yeah, just a wonderful knife. I carried this a lot. I actually did end up using it quite a bit. So yeah, a little bit of a curveball, but the history of this is because of the link to Blackie Collins. Well, I certainly hope you've enjoyed this video, and thanks to that pocket knife guy for another excellent open tag. Gives us a chance to break out some knives we don't always get to show or don't get a lot of love here on the channel. And so, there again, this is my attempt at top 5 knives, not case, not buck, and with a historical background. So until next time, have a very delightful day.